Yikes. We are back with the FIA Manufacturer Exhibition Series, and there's a lot of action in this race today. Racing for Jaguar, we've changed it up from Subaru. And the FIA has changed up our region this Manufacturer Series. We are being joined by South America to form one new region, the Americas, which includes our friends in Canada, of course. And we are in Brazil in South America at Interlagos. Pour one out for Jose Carlos Pace. Rest in peace. The lobbies online this week were aflutter with anxiety about being joined by the Brazilians in particular, who are known as being quite aggressive on the racetrack. Certainly a lot of touching going on. Although, in my experience this week, and as I suspected, being in the A rank and above, we're not going to see anything too terribly violent, aside from the lag that we are experiencing due to the servers being spread across 3 regions. I'm assuming. I don't actually know how this all works. But while I kind of suspected that maybe the South American servers would be the ones suffering with ping this race, it was actually the United States servers, as we will see. Our main problem in this race will be another American. A North American, I should say, rather. I need to specify now. The Pinglord you saw in the beginning there, in that little horror film, will be in our second race. We did 2 races this week. We're going to highlight our first one real quick, move over into qualifying and see how that went. Coming around the very end of our qualifying stint, we were able to put ourselves in 4th position. Not too bad. I do like this track, as I said last season, and I've been enjoying this car. I've been running nearer to the front in lobbies this week with a little additional power, and again, the way it handles. Coming around following Scooby-Doo, apparently. I'm going to dip in the grass. First lap of the first race, and the competitiveness here again so high. One little mistake like that, it was a pretty big mistake in fairness, and I did well to save it and get it back from the grass. Get past 3 times there, and then coming down after the straight, someone else was able to slipstream by. So we've lost 4 positions in the first lap. Not an ideal situation. Coming up on lap 7, I underestimate the extra speed I had from the slipstream there and outbrake myself. I went to the right there, because if you go to the right, you'll tend to bump the person around the corner as opposed to take them out. No sense in ruining someone else's race for a mistake I made. So we lost another 4 there. I was able to have a good race with Vortex Marco, a competitor that's new to me from Brazil. Good side-by-side racing here. Plenty of space given. Given some space on the inside there, and he is able to keep it. Again, we're still side-by-side, having come through the downhill sweeping S's. Trying to fight for enough track that I'm not dragging the grass a little. He's still on the inside. Stay far left and try to see if I can get a cutback situation of some sort. He kind of disappears there, but he just stayed right beside. A little rubbing to get by, no problem there. It's clean. 1 lap later, same situation. I end up giving him an accidental bump trap, trying to get by on the outside. I'm going to go deep on the brakes here. He's able to maintain the inside line nice and tidy. Try and get a run on him here, coming back the sun curve into the second straight. And this is a key moment. Just enough traction to get the bumper up inside. Now I have the inside in this next line. I'm going to try to give him the same respect he showed me when he had me in this position. I go a little tiny bit deep, but I'm able to leave room on the outside if he needed it. He doesn't. He slots back in. And I've made up 1 position there. It was a great race. And come around the end of the lap, or the end of the race rather, in P11. It's not the finish I was hoping for, especially being ranked 9th in the lobby. 91 points. As I said, we're going to go again. We'll show a bit of this next qualifier, but we're going to speed it up a bit. We're coming around here of our outlap, end of our outlap to get started. a little tiny moment there in the exit, and it kind of sets me up perfectly. Now I'm out of the slipstream here to start my qualifying lap, which I'm happy about. I don't want to run into the back anyone and lose that much time. But I have been able to grab the slipstream by now, so that's helping me out a little bit. Hoping we don't run up the back anyone too close here into the infield section. Getting a little loose or a little wide there. Might help me out, that's fine. As long as I can finish with slipstream here, which I do, and coming up to the line, you can see the effect the slipstream's having. I'm pulling right up. I'm able to put it on pole in the early part of the qualifying stint, but by the end, we were sitting in second with a couple people running, and I expected to be unseated. What is this? Dark Spirit Paco is invaded. Oh, I've been invaded. Paco's in P2, I'm in P3. The Pinglord is among us. Jumping over to take a look at the grid before we get started. Fly down here. Oh, look at the Mario livery. There's a couple good liveries in here. Speed V Dash. Mario Karting it. There's the trouble. A couple of Brazilian friends behind. It's a little intimidating. Our friend So Marvel was in this lobby with us on the second race. Put her in P8. It is good to see a mix. It's definitely more diverse than it had been before we joined this new region. And 20 racers rounds out the grid. We learned a good bit in our first race. We also did a number of practice races this week with the PSRT team online. That's really working on our overall pace. We did a couple offline practice races also working on varying strategy. We have to use the soft, medium, and hard compound tire. And again, a new change to the FIA manufacturer is that pit lane is much longer to get down now. The times are much more representative of how long it would actually take you to get down pit lane. Starting the race, just trying to keep it nice and tidy. We're on the mediums currently. My least favorite compound of the bunch. And if you look there at the top left at Paco, he has a little red bar beside his name. That means he is having considerable connection issues. And as you can see, I only have 3 yellow bars. Paco's going for a inside move on the third corner on the first lap of the race. Interesting strategy. Causes a little bit of a chaos pile up. And works out in our favor. We're able to make a little bit of a gap. Just trying to hang with here. Boy, they're coming in nearly 3 wide behind us. Again, on the mediums, just trying to be clean. All the American servers, or our connections to this server, do not seem good. You can see Canada down there is not great. So North America, I don't think we have this server. We must be on a South American server for this race. We'll see how that pans out. It's going to cause us considerable problems, and we're going to get into those shortly. Coming up to end the first lap. 1, 2, 3, pretty close. I'm going to try to get a good run here and get by this guy, not realizing that Skid Bro has made it up my inside. I may want to save that. Slot in behind and head towards lap 2, first corner. Looks like Skid Row's got the run on Paco. He's going to hold him left. I'm going to stay over here on the racing line. Skid Row thinks about a move around the outside. Paco keeps it fairly... I don't know where he was there, really. Didn't get a good look. I'm knocking over cones, using all the track that's available. Down through Sun Curve and onto the back straight. Still in good position. Still where I started. I'm going to maintain the racing line, let these guys fight it out. Paco's defending. This is very early for a lot of this. And he's got enough scrub going on that I'm assuming at this point he might be on hard tires, which is a real wild strategy. He would be intentionally trying to hold us up then here. As soon as we're by him, we'll certainly just be able to run away. Coming up here into the infield, Skid Row goes for a move up the inside. You can see now the connection issues are visibly a problem, as Paco is just jumping all over the place. I'm trying to avoid hitting him, but it's really hard to tell where he is. And obviously this is the same thing Skid Row's dealing with. You know, Skid Row and I have a yellow connection there, but he's not jumping around. I can tell where he is, but we are not able to tell. using all the focus I can at this point just to try to drive clean. I have no idea where this car is. It's like magic. As soon as I think I'm by him, I'm not. And we're back in the same position as we were on the end of the first lap. Paco's coming into the pits, it looks like. Yes, he is. So I'm going to slot over to the right immediately and let Skid Row know I'm not trying to fight. Let's just run. Seemingly the problem's out of the way. Let's try to build a gap behind us and get this race actually underway. That was quite chaotic in the beginning. Medium tires still feeling okay. They'll be real crappy by the end of lap 6, which is when we're planning on coming in. There's 6 times tire wear in this race and 3 times fuel wear. I missed my apex just a little bit here, run a touch wide. It gets really slippery over there. I'm able to rejoin cleanly and let another Brazilian friend, Novak, up the inside, racing for NBCK. I pick up a half a second penalty for my off track there. A lot of times if you let off the gas a little bit, you might not get a penalty, but I was able to perhaps keep it a little too smooth on my off track, extending track limits. So we're gonna have a penalty to deal with, a half a second penalty on the back straight on this next lap. So right now I'm just trying to stay clean. You can see there's a number of cars behind me. Half a second, I can expect to maybe lose 1 position. We'll see how it flushes out. Catching the final corner clean. Running a little wide there, little moment. Kicks me to the left, might give the Brazilian driver behind a better run on the front straight. And looks like it did. He's all up in my radar here, as you can see. I'm going to slot over to take the racing line, and this is something I've been working on a little bit. Let someone through and then close the door immediately. You can see the radar behind us. Balls up 2 other race drivers going side by side into the second corner, which is perfect. It's going to give me a little bit of room behind. I'm trying to get a nice clean run out here. I have the slipstream, so this is going to help me. I'm serving the penalty now, and with that slipstream run, coming into the braking zone, I was able to not lose much time, though I go a little wide again. Downshift to second. I'm going to need the acceleration here. I do have some attention behind now as we come up into the infield. Able to keep it clean still. Just trying to run nice and tidy on these mediums. We're going to fast forward. Nothing really changes. No position changes. No one really comes in. Paco did come in. He was on the hards, assumingly, with only 2 laps on those tires. We got 2 more laps on our medium compound tires, which are just now starting to feel real terrible in all the corners. Looking behind me, there is a little bit of a gap back there. I think I can stick to my plan of coming in for hards. Maybe come out with some clean air, which is ideally what we want. So we peel off for the new pit timing. Maximizing the track there that we can. Put on some hard tires. We're not taking fuel yet. We're going to have to conserve a little bit of fuel here. I've saved my fuel conserving for my stint on hards in that it's just going to keep me from misbehaving. I'm not going to push the tires too hard. Hopefully I won't have any tragic off moments. I was running in 4th when I came in for this first pit. A couple other racers into pit also. We'll see exactly where we come out here. I'm looking around, and it looks like I have a clean window. Put your goggles on. We're going to go warp speed for our hard compound stint. 1,000 times speed. This is really where I was able to maximize my race. Not having anyone in front of me, being on the slower compound tire, not having to deal with dirty air from anyone in front of me or any track battling. I don't have to push the tires super hard. I can just drive super clean. And as long as as you can see there, my first lap, my first full lap on the hards is actually my fastest lap yet. And if you watch that delta at the right side of the screen of the laps, you can see that we're running rather consistent 133s, which I'm very happy with on the hard compound. And again, this is just great for us. This is a pinnacle part of our race, that we're able to just lap like this cleanly, that we're able to stay consistent Keep running in the low 133s. You can see the consistency there on lap 9, 10, 11 was great. And we added 3/10 on lap 12. So at the end of lap 13, we're going to peel off into the pits for our soft tires. We're going to fast forward this pit stop just a little bit. Now we will be taking fuel. I learned about exactly what I need to do with my fuel from the first race. Just under 7 laps will mean that I shouldn't have to do any fuel saving really, and I can just do an all-out sprint from here to the end. The car is as light as it's been. It has the least amount of gas for a starting stint on a compound of tire. I'm on the soft tire. Able to go around the outside there. And he peels off to the pits. This is working out great also. I'm able to get some slipstream, get by people at good places. And I'm currently in P10, but there's a number of people that are going to be pitting shortly. I'm pulling up behind the Corvette here again. Perfect timing. Catch some slipstream, slingshot by. He goes into the pits. And we've got 5 laps left. Soft compounded tire in P5. This is about where I'm expecting to be making some moves. Great run through Sun Curve here. Not going to really get too much of a battle on GT Fox. I tuck in for a touch of slipstream just to get on the inside. I'm going to make sure I keep it nice and tight on this apex this time. Move to the outside to kind of block his momentum a little bit. And we're off. In P4, I see a little bit of action happening up front. It's the Pinglord. Oh boy. He's pinging. Well, we're going to have to figure out how to get by Paco here. No clue what tire compound he might be on. I know it's not the hards, assuming he's not running the hards twice. And again, you can see the cars just jumping everywhere. I have no earthly idea where he is. I'm going to get pushed out there. Just save it, catch enough of that concrete on the right side there to get traction back underneath me. But again, he slingshots by and I'm behind still. I have the attention behind of one of the other Brazilians. Nope, peeling off into the pits, as does Franco. So we are in P3, and I need to find a way by Paco as soon as possible. We're gonna get caught up by Skid Row rather quickly with all this battling, trying to figure out exactly where in this void this car is. Give a slight run here, take a look to the inside. He covers it off, back out to the outside. I'm gonna go a little deep there and then try to get a cut back. And I have noticed also every time I've been around Paco, while the car has been jumping around, if you're on the outside of him, you are going to get thrown a little bit. How much of that is intentional, can't really know at this moment. He's able to keep it on the inside. And again, all this battling is slowing me down so much. He's obviously slower. Maybe he's on the medium tire compound. Gonna try to hang around the outside again. Looks like sometimes he's giving me room and then sometimes I'm just getting nudged out. That's a whole nother lap of being trapped. It's at least the second one. The car is all over the place. At this point, I'm just trying to focus and stare down the track ahead and drive my line. It doesn't seem that we're able to really bump each other because of our connection. So I'm just going to commit to my line. Try to, again, find a way by on this lap. We are getting caught by 2 cars behind as we both come in too wide into the first corner. Keeping it nice and tight behind, trying to get a good run. A little bit of dirty air being here in the slipstream with that big wing on the GTR. He's going to move to the inside, and I'm going to once again send it right at the braking point, try to get the cut back. Again, he's got his car in just the right position there. But I've been caught. T-Less comes up my inside, coming into the infield. I'm going to give him just a touch of room. Maybe they'll wreck each other out. I've tried for 2 laps to get by and not been able to, so I'm going to have to try to find another way. to make this work in my favor. T-Less having the same problems with Paco, and that looked a little intentional. Now I'm going to get blocked, and I make up my mind here. We're taking him out. You know, after being pushed out of virtually every corner I got alongside him in, and then being passed, that should have been my P2 technically, and I can't think of a better time to be able to say that. That had nothing to do with me. It was a server connection issue, but we have survived, which I'm grateful for, and we're going to see if we can catch T-Less up ahead. But as you can see, our pace is about equal now that we're not being affected by Paco. And had I been able to get by sooner, we probably would have been running just like this with positions swapped. That's just the way the cookie crumbled on this one. Coming around the final lap, comfortably in P3. Quite happy with this finish too, really. Obviously a little bummed it could have been a P2, but P3 is not bad. I wanted to get a podium. Starting the Manufacturer Series straight away. We'll see how many points that's worth. It certainly will be enough, and I'm not going to do another one, particularly after seeing the kinds of connection issues we could be thrown into. 143 points, pretty good. I'll take it. Wasn't going to burn my retinas any further staring at the screen trying to get a better race than that. In the post-race lobby, it got a little animated, colorful. You can understand emotions are running high when your race is affected by connection issues like that. And seemingly the connection issues were also hiding a little bit of a more nefarious racing style. We're going to leave here before it gets too colorful, really. You know, let everyone just kind of have their venting. Paco incorrectly says third world problems. Paco, that was a North American problem, certainly, and your ping was by far the worst. But we're going to take a look at some race highlights and also maybe a little more of what happened with that ping as we join our friend So Marvel, who is back here. He started in P8. This is lap 1. Coming up on a whole gaggle of cars here, and here we got a great example of good sportsmanship as So Marvel gets turned into and lets off a little bit, letting definitely not Jimmy past, and also the driver that turned into him, that, you know, little racing incident. Everyone got away there clean. I'm pretty sure those penalties back there had to have been from track limits, as the penalty system is much less robust than it used to be. Whoa, someone speedy dash going off. Further around the race, we can see that same thing happen again, and this time So Marvel's like, nah, I won't have you turn in on me twice, which I think is fair. But as our friend in the Mario Kart livery, well, not Mario Kart, Mario livery rather, climbs up the grass hill all the way down in P20, rejoining with So Marvel. He has been passed. T-Less used the slipstream to get by there. I'm just taking a quick peek to see that they are both on racing mediums with about the same amount of wear. So Marvel's going to slot back in. Further around again. Coming up on a Subaru driver. Nice move up the inside. But the Subaru's going to try to reply here. I like watching other people drive the Subaru. I know how difficult this car can be to handle. It is particularly good in this corner. As you can see, our Brazilian friend there makes good use of the added grip of the Subaru to stay on the inside. Plenty of room given, but it's going to come back in So Marvel's favor on this next corner in the left-hander. He puts his car over to the right a little bit to defend. Good defense, and they're running again as normal. Coming down the end of that lap, it's 3 wide coming into turn 1. My goodness. No ping issues, thankfully, there. Everybody able to keep it rather clean. Try to find a new order to slot into. It works out in Marvel's favor. He was able to stay ahead. Must have been real happy about that at that moment. Someone serving a penalty. He's defending from the rear. And this is an incredible move by Edison. Good on So Marvel for leaving the space. Edison goes around the outside, really dangerous there. This track just makes for some excellent racecraft with all the sweeping turns. A couple straights, some big sweeping turns, some tight turns. They're running pretty quick in succession there. This is near the end of the race. That's really what you want more than anything, is just to have a good race in your hands. We're going to fast forward a whole nother lap. And this time, So Marvel able to slot up the inside. Changing positions once again. These two have been swapping back and forth. Novak is hanging in there, waiting to pick off any roadkill that might happen. But as of yet, there has been none. Clean driving by everybody. We jump on board with Edison. It's a little moment coming out of the penultimate corner, but he's able to get a good run on Marvel, who isn't able to defend the inside there. And now coming into the final lap, they have switched positions again. Marvel tucking into the slipstream. Novak still very near behind, but Marvel not feeling the need to defend, so maybe not quite that close. Maybe Novak didn't get the greatest run in the back straight. Final lap, tires are in pretty good shape, really. I don't know how long of a stint Marvel did on the softs. Oh boy, Novak is right there. Marvel's both defending and attacking. Center of the racetrack. Standard procedure for that position. Doing a great job to keep his car in a place that's difficult to get by. Novak's going to try to take that slipstream of Edison up the inside. Good plays a little deep. Another great show of sportsmanship. He lets off just enough to let them resume the race. And just hangs in there again. This Subaru, insanely difficult to drive, particularly when the tires are going off. I've been in that car for 5 seasons, I know it. Rejoining with Marvel, who needs to get by one more time. Both the tires are pretty secondhand at this point. Final corner. Calm, cool, and collected. Slight little moment. Sacrifices his exit just a little, and it's a run to the line. Edison's got a little bit of the extra power to put down. And as soon as he's able, he covers off the inside. Very close finish for P6 and P7. Excellent racing. So Marvel told me there was a 3 wide moment at the end of the race here, and you might have caught it out his windscreen. And it's the Pinglord was involved in this. As was, thankfully I was by at this point. We joined Skid Row, who also had a lot of trouble being held up by Paco, as we come into the final corner, 3 wide. And we can see in the replay here that Skid Row has left off the power completely and had full lock left. So he did his best to keep that from being an ugly moment in that corner, 3 wide. And I don't know who that is, but it gets ugly for them. This is one of the most impressive moments of driving in this whole race, honestly. To get the Ferrari up that grass hill on spent tires at the final lap of the race, that was amazing. But he's going to get passed again, but he's going to play it honorably and not mess with Franco as he goes around the outside. Disappointing. We're going to jump on with Paco here to see if there was anything untoward that happened in this final corner. This is not a 3 wide corner, so this was going to break one way or another. Here you can see he is off the power and locked left also, so in that instance he was doing his best to maintain a central line, but you can see his softs are completely trashed. I looked back, he tried to do 10 laps on softs. That's a chaotic strategy in its own right, let alone the ping. Look, we can see a couple other moments that happen here. We are in the back there. Obviously this isn't what Paco was seeing. There's no way you'd be able to control this. One moment he's mowing the yard, and the next he's on the apex right in front of you. There was just no way to tell where he was. It was rather frustrating. I was glad to have survived it. My goodness. Well, that might clear it up a little bit for anybody that wondered what happened there. We know that the ping was a significant issue and it was on the North American side. Points tabulated late in the morning, 143 points, 39th for Jaguar. There's obviously a lot more people in the Jaguar than there were in the Subaru. Second in Texas. Maybe that'll be the battle this season. Try to get to P1 in Texas for Jaguar. Very likely to lose our SS ranking in this manufacturer. Next week, we're going to be at DragonTrail-Seaside for some probably exciting racing again. I'm going to have to edit another one of these videos. I'm trying to only do the exciting ones. DragonTrail-Seaside has the death chicane we're looking at here. This is the entrance. Part 1 and 2, Part 3 and 4 here. You can see I'm lifting while I thread that needle. There will be people doing it flat, I noticed, in the PSRT practice room this week. So I need a little more practice. I'm going to have to dial that in myself if I intend to be competitive. Coming in 2 days. In the meantime, thanks for joining. Take care. Be well.